Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is John Phillips, co-founder of PredictIt, to discuss what the stock market of politics is saying about electoral college odds and Biden cabinet picks. John, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thank you very much, Jill.
And it's a big day for us, right? So since Election Day, November 3rd, all 50 states and the District of Columbia certified their votes, named the slates of electors, meeting today, of course, to formally cast their ballots for president and vice president. The next step in the process of finalizing Joe Biden's victory, and of course, the stock market of politics, PredictIt, is putting money to work on this. So John, remind viewers what PredictIt is and what traders think about the amount of electoral college votes Biden and Trump will respectively get.
Thanks, Jill. It's great to be back. So yes, PredictIt is, as you said, the stock market for politics. You can buy and sell with real money, $1 winner-take-all contracts, depending on what you think is going to happen. So if you think something's going to happen, you put a little bit of money in, somewhere between a penny and $1, and you own a share that that event will occur. Now, we match your bet, if you will, against somebody who doesn't think that event is going to occur, and whoever gets it right gets the full dollar. So it's a $1 winner-take-all contract structured like a stock market about political and other types of events.
So when we talk about the Electoral College today, and of course I saw on the website earlier that there are very specific amounts where money is being put to work, with Biden getting X amount of votes and Trump getting X amount of votes. Tell us about that. Sure.
And what makes it really interesting, I'm going to get to this, is the faithless electors, which is a great phrase. And is something that Americans are learning to are coming to understand this week as it gets into the Electoral College vote. So what's going on is that the market thinks that Trump is going to end up with 232 Electoral College votes, although there's some disagreement about that. Some think he'll be higher, some think he'll be lower. But Trump to get 232 Electoral College votes, what we saw over the last week was that consolidated down 71% odds that Trump's going to get 232 Electoral College votes when the dust settles. That's an increase of 9 cents or 9% just in recent days. So Trump at 232, Biden at 306, and those odds also have consolidated in the last few days. That's 87% odds that's what's going to happen. Biden to get 306, and that's up 10% just in the last few days. So Trump at 232, Biden at 306. That's what the market is saying. Now, we got to get to the faithless electors. So this is so interesting. When the Electoral College met in 2016, 306 of them, this is in 2016, 306 of them pledged to vote for Trump, and another 232 were bound to Hillary. By the end of the process, Trump ended up with only 304 Electoral College votes, and Clinton finished with 227. So 7 electors from Hawaii, Texas, and Washington State, they went rogue, and they voted for someone other than the candidate they were pledged to support. Can this happen? Yes, it can happen, and in fact, it has happened before. It appears unlikely that a similar situation is going to play out this year. Supreme Court ruled earlier this year that states can punish or remove electors who change their votes. So some 32 states and the District of Columbia now have laws requiring electors to vote for the candidate for which they are pledged, though in states without, there's nothing stopping electors from changing their votes. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, it seems like we have to do some revisionary work to our overall laws here in this country as things have sped up with how quickly information can be disseminated. It seems as if it's a bit antiquated, but that's a conversation for another time. Let's talk about cabinet picks, because it seems like many of them were actually in the Democratic field during the primary season.
Sure. Okay. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Elizabeth Warren, who at one point in the election process, the primary process, was the powerhouse, the candidate to beat. Only you would think she'd be a shoo-in for the cabinet. Now, the two things working against her. Well, one thing really, which is, were she picked, that her replacement might be picked by a Republican Republican governor of Massachusetts. And the Democrats don't want that. So Warren's odds of getting a cabinet position, this is again by March 1st, that she will be in the cabinet, it's only 5%. Pete Buttigieg, by contrast, his name has been trotted out for a number of different positions: ambassador to China, Secretary of Defense. He actually is, as of this weekend, being rumored for the pick for Department of Transportation. And the odds that Buttigieg is going to be in the cabinet by March 1st have increased by 12%. It's now 64% odds that he will be in the cabinet. The next one is Amy Klobuchar, senator. The odds of she'll be in the cabinet, similar to Warren's, only 5% odds.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how these are all going to continue to play out. Now, why were you looking at March 1st? Why that date specifically?
Well, it's sufficient time after the inauguration. And, there may be nominees who don't make it through the confirmation process. There may also be nominees who drop out, or, dark horse nominees that no one's really thinking about or talking about who rise to fill the spot. This is really Biden's pick, but he has to get it through the Senate. And we won't know the results of the Senate race, of course, until early January.
All right. We still have a lot to talk about, John. Great to see you as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks, Jill.